This is Sing and welcome to another week of headlines from Mongol Economy website. As of July 2nd, the prices of main food products fell 1.1% compared to last month. Data shows that mutton prices fell 5% and beef prices fell 2.3%, and beef without a bones fell 2% and goat prices fell 1.9%. Horse meat, however, showed no changes. Rice and sugar also did not see any changes in price. Most of the staple products showed an increase in prices while dairy products decreased. The World Bank introduced the Mongol Economic Update on Thursday this week. They say that the Mongol economy is facing challenges from the pressure of large balance of payments and high inflation. The World Bank underlined that the economic vulnerability will unlikely continue under the current growth-oriented policies and urged that monetary and fiscal policies should be tightened in order to restore economic stability and maintain financial soundness. And Tae-Hoon Lee, the World Bank senior economist, say that economic growth is expected to soften to 9.5% in 2014, reflecting waning domestic demand. Considering the still high domestic credit growth and currency depreciation, inflation will likely to remain at a double-digit level for the remainder of the year. The Minister of Economic Development Batwai and Country Director of the Asian Development Bank Robert Schollhammer met this week to sign an agreement called Ulaanbaatar Urban Services and Gur Areas Development Investment Program. This program aims to develop the Gur districts of Ulaanbaatar and to promote the investment of Mongolia within the first phase of the agreement. Soft loans and commercial loans and non-refundable aid will be provided by the Asian Development Bank and the Europe Investment Bank, and adding total of $82 million. And the Ulaanbaatar City Council will provide an additional $22 million for financing and making a grand total of $104.5 million. The Inner Mongolia Investment Forum was held this week starting from 2nd of July until the 4th. 200 foreign investors from Inner Mongolia and China participated in the events hailing from many sectors including energy, road, transportation, construction, and mining, agriculture, food, telecommunication, trade, bank, and financing, and the environment. Another 200 business people also participated from Mongolia, representing 160 different entities. The investors from Inner Mongolia and China primarily come from the agriculture sector and the food industry. These investors understand Mongolian diversification policies. Parliament ended the last day of their spring session this Wednesday. During these meetings, Parliament members were able to discuss 79 laws, regulations, and resolutions. Of these 79, 9 of them were independent laws, which were all passed. In addition, they were able to change 43 current laws by adding major improvements. Financing from the Chinggis and Samurai bond, in addition to other budget operations, needs to be reflected in a general budget. Then total deficit needs to be cut down until it meets the level consistent with the fiscal stability law, which rests at 2%. In order to do this, budget amendments should be processed and submitted to Parliament next month. And the Parliament members will need to announce an off-season session in August. Since last July, Oyu Tolgoi started exporting copper concentrate from its open-pit mine. This year, the company is aiming to export between 900,000 and 1 million tons of copper concentrate to its trading and investment partners. According to Gambolt, Executive Director of Erdenes Oyu Tolgoi, if they are able to achieve this goal, Oyu Tolgoi will earn between $2 and $2.6 billion in revenues. Last year, Oyu Tolgoi shipped 252,000 tons of copper concentrate from its open-pit mines. According to its schedule of its underground mining operations, the company will start supplying products from this source beginning in 2016. That's all for now. We'll come back with more next week.